The problem about your IBD specialists is they miss out the most smallest of details to why you might be having a flare. What if I told you that something 100 times smaller than a grain of sand could be the reason why you're having constant flares? Hi, I'm Paul. I've been in remission now and symptom-free and med-free from my UC for the last 19 months using a carnivore elimination diet. In this video, I'm going to discuss what these small little things are, how to get rid of them, so then hopefully you don't keep having flares in the future. So does this pattern kind of ring a bell? You would have a flare-up, you'd start obviously bleeding, have an urgency, you'd go to the doctor, get medication, and after you've been, say, on prednisolone for a few weeks, things start to calm down, you start to feel a bit better. So then obviously you finish the course of steroids, and then within the space of 6 months, or even sooner, you could end up with a flare-up. So you're obviously bleeding again, your urgency, you're having to go back on the medication. So then you end up staying on the medication for a bit, coming off it, and then you have another flare-up. And then every time you go to the doctors, you speak to them and say, why am I having flare-ups? And they're just like, it's just random. We don't know. We don't know the reason why you keep having flare-ups. It's literally just random. Which, in my opinion, is utter bullshit. The reason they don't know is because all they've been taught is how to prescribe things with medication. What is actually happening inside of your bowels? So the doctor explains that when you have a flare-up, you have white blood cells. And then white blood cells start attacking your system because they think there's a threat. So you overproduce white blood cells, which cause inflammation, which then, obviously, you end up with a flare-up. But why on earth would your body, the thing that's had millions of years to evolve to get to this perfect fucking specimen, how on earth has it gone to this, and then now all of a sudden, it's deciding, you know what, I'm just going to start attacking myself. What a load of fucking shit. Like, honestly, all of a sudden, like literally all of a sudden, your body thinks, nope, I don't want to be in homeostasis anymore. I just want to flare up. I want to cause damage to myself. It is the biggest load of hawkish shit you can possibly think of. So obviously you feel frustrated, pissed off, because you're thinking, why is my body now attacking itself? What is actually really happening inside my body? So then if we go down to, obviously, the thing that's 100 times smaller than a grain of sand, it is called bacteria. In your intestines, there is about 35 trillion bacteria in there surviving. That is a shitload of bacteria. Now, if one of them decides to overtake, and even if it's a good bacteria and it still overtakes, it could end up causing bad side effects because it's not supposed to be out of balance. There's something called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is something that I've kind of had a ha-ha moment about. I kind of thought, this must be the reason why everything seems okay for a little bit, and then ends up coming back to another flare-up. And it seems to be okay for a little bit, and then it comes back to a flare-up. And the reason I say that is because when you take the medication, it reduces the inflammation. Everything calms down, but it doesn't actually get rid of the pathogens, and it doesn't get rid of the bad bacteria that's causing the issues that are going on. So then when you obviously start living your life normally without the medication, they can start building up again. They can start like producing all sorts of endotoxins and everything that's going off in your system, eating your mucus lining of your like intestines. So then obviously that's weakening that, which is causing you to have leaky gut, which then is obviously causing you to have histamine reactions. And when you have histamine reactions, it causes more inflammation in your system. So that inflammation then goes around the rest of your body, all because you haven't addressed these bacteria. And to be fair, it's one of them things that the doctors never ever talk about. Have you ever, let me know in the comments below, have you ever had a doctor talk about SIBO, leaky gut, or histamine intolerances to you? Because I tell you, I've had ulcerative colitis now for 12 years. Not one fucking doctor, literally one, has talked about any of these symptoms, or any of these reasons, or any of these things that's going off that other than just the white blood cells are increasing, so they're going to attack your system. That is literally the only bullshit thing they've ever told me. So when you do the research yourself, you're looking into things yourself, and you find this thing called SIBO, you think, how is that even possible? How is bacteria the cause? But when you look at it, what happens? You get the bad bacteria, well, not even bad. The bacteria from your large colon, which should be staying in there and only in there, moves up into your small intestines. Now, it's not supposed to be there. So then this ends up like, it's basically like the red ants to like black ants. The red ants seem to want to take over everything. The red ants just kill the other colonies and they kill them. And that's what's happening with this. It basically kills all the good bacteria that's in your small intestines, which leaves all this bacteria that shouldn't be there. So as I said, you reduce the inflammation. That's still all there. Your immune system thinks, okay, there's no more flare-up now. Nothing's happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand down a bit. Not realizing that all these bad bacteria and pathogens are in the bowels and they're still like multiplying and they're still producing all these endotoxins that are causing shit and basically causing loads of issues inside your bowels. So you might be wondering, how does the bad bacteria increase? So when you are eating foods that are high in carbs, fiber, all these things feed these pathogens. These things will increase the amount that's inside your intestines. That is why one of the best, and I'd say the best thing you can do, is to go on a carnivore elimination diet. Now, they don't necessarily kill off all the bad bacteria, but they will starve it and weaken the environment so they can't keep progressing and keep multiplying like they used to before. So if you want to know how to really get down to the bottom of, obviously, healing your UC, the top link in the description, it goes into everything. It goes into more depth on, obviously, getting rid of the bad bacteria, sealing up your leaky gut, getting rid of histamine reactions, going on the carnivore diet. It's literally a full approach to healing your UC. So what are the steps you can take to fix this maybe overgrowth of bacteria? First of all, you start the carnivore diet, which is the best, like, anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense diet there is out there for people with UC anyway. And if you do that, it will starve the bad bacteria, and it won't necessarily kill them all, but it'll make the environment a lot worse than what it would be if you were feeding them the carbs and fiber, and then they could obviously keep growing and growing. The next thing you could do is take the Super Gut Yogurt by Dr. Davis, where you have this yogurt every single day and it clears out all the bad bacteria and then puts good probiotics into your gut again and starts making sure that it does what it needs to do. So with both of them together, you can start sealing the gut lining. You can obviously get rid of SIBO. Now, obviously, if you want to get more into depth in this and how to heal your bowels fully, then top link in the description is my 90-day UC regenerative protocol. Literally goes into everything you could possibly think of to get you healing your UC today. Now, with only them two things, you are suppressing the fire and you're taking away the fuel for it not to get any bad, for it not to get any worse. This has literally been my experience over the last 12 years. I have been on medication, everything calmed down. Within 6 months, I'd have a flare-up. Everything had calmed down. 6 months later, I'd end up having another flare-up. Then I'd go back on medication, come off that medication, and have another flare-up. I've even been on medication where it's supposed to reduce the inflammation and still had flare-ups. So there's got to have been something underlying that was going off. And I think one of the reasons why was because of this SIBO. Something that would have never ever appealed to me or never ever come to my mind unless I was being my own scientist, being someone who thought outside the box and experimented to get my health where I wanted to be. Not listening to the doctors telling me that the only cure for this is pills. Let me know in the comments below what the specialist told you the first day you got diagnosed. If you want more help on your healing journey, then subscribe and like, and I'll see you again soon.